Today on Anvil of War Gaming, we're reviewing the ambitious Warhammer Plus from Games Workshop. But is it worth it?
Anvil of War! Review Rollout!
Hey guys, and welcome back to Anvil of War Gaming. Thank you for joining us today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Let us know you're enjoying our content, and we'll continue to make more. If you are subscribed to the channel already, thank you so much for your support. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors over at Red Dragon in Ottawa, Ontario for your support. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate everything you do. If you want to support us, you can support us by supporting them. Check out the link to their web store in the video description below. Now, today we are on a bit of a hot topic. I kind of wanted to talk about this for quite a while. It's Warhammer Plus. So I kind of patiently waited. I wanted to see. I wanted to do a comprehensive review of the platform, of this media platform that Games Workshop has sort of created. It's also a streaming service, and sort of encompasses a lot of branches, a lot of things that Games Workshop sort of had in the works. And obviously, they've kind of been building towards this. This has been in the works and in the planning stages for some time now. So. Yeah, I'm going to try to stay as neutral as possible. I don't want to go too heavy on the negative side or too heavy on the positive side, and try to stay in between. Give you my non-biased opinion on the service. I'm going to give you guys some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like, essentially what it all entails. And we'll go into some details in regards to that. So starting off the top, I mean, the thing comes in at $5.99 US dollars per month to get your subscription. Now, we're here in Canada, so that's a little bit more for us. And I mean, if you're in Australia, sorry guys, but yeah, it's just it's comparable to like Netflix and Crave and those other streaming services, but you're going to get a lot of different things that are going to be kind of included with this. So that's sort of the trade-off of the fact that you're obviously not getting the same volume of content that you would from something like Netflix or from Crave, because there's not, that many shows out there already, movies and things like that, to kind of draw and create this like database for people to be able to pull from this service. So we got to kind of factor that in when we're talking about, because a lot of the things I'm seeing, especially in the community, is the volume of content that's being produced. But I do want to touch on that. So first of all, what does it encompass? Well, you're going to get animations, access to animations. They've already released several, they've released a full, essentially, season up to the mid-season break at this point of one series, and a few animations of another series. So you've got the Angels of Death, which covers the Blood Angels of Sword of Baal. Just some really cool stuff going on with that series, and I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but there will be some spoilers ahead. And then there's the Hammer and Bolter series, which is sort of an anthology series, which covers a whole variety of little short stories within the Warhammer 40,000 universe so far. And I think it's going to branch off and go a little bit more into Age of Sigmar as we go further, based on some of the animation previews and things that we've seen. Now, it also gives you access to the Warhammer 40K and the Age of Sigmar apps. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with these apps. I think they're a great idea. I think they're going to be amazing, and they have tons of a potential, and we'll discuss that a little bit more later. But as of right now, I mean, you're getting access to both of them, which I think I can't remember what the original cost was when I signed up for the Warhammer 40,000 one, but yeah, I think it was actually kind of on par with what your monthly cost is now for this new service. So it also encompasses some exclusive miniatures. Now, if you sign up for it and you sign up for a whole year subscription, you're going to get access to a free, I'm going to use air quotations there, exclusive miniature. Now, they've revealed the pictures of these models. They are fantastic. They're Games Workshop. Expect good quality models. But yeah, that's just another feature. And I would say these character models, I mean, if you wanted to give them kind of an average value, be around 40 US dollars. So you have to factor that into your yearly subscription, and what the total will be for the year. Kind of subtract that because that's kind of factored into the overall. You're also gaining access to the Warhammer Vault, which is going to give you access to you're getting access to White Dwarf magazines, the Warhammer Visions. I'm not the biggest fan of. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But older episode or older magazines for White Dwarf, but it's going to be an online digital copy, obviously. And you have access to those, and then the Warhammer Visions, which are sort of just kind of like catalogs. But you're also getting access to some old campaigns, some classic campaign books that were put out by Games Workshop, and really fun kind of narrative things that you can do with that. It gives you access to event extras, the extent of which Games Workshop hasn't fully unveiled. I'm really interested to see what the perks are when it comes to events. I'm really excited about Adepticon. I'm hoping to go this year again. So, you know, Adepticon, we're rooting for you guys. We're hoping everything runs super smoothly and everything's green lighted. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be, there's going to be some sort of access, maybe some special previews, maybe special models that are included. You're also going to gain access to Warhammer TV. Now, this includes battle reports, some of which have been kind of going the narrative direction, which is really cool. Kind of like historical battles or famous battles within the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It's going to give you access to the masterclass painting series, as well as some other painting series. So that's kind of cool. You also have your start to play or learn to play videos on there for. I think there's Kill Team, Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar. Can't remember what else is on there, but that's good to see. I mean, it's a good kind of source for that, especially for players that are getting new into the hobby. Maybe we're leaning more on the lore side and want to kind of branch off into the game. And they also have the Lore Masters series. Now, this is a really good series, but there are also some awesome content creators out there on YouTube that are creating lore-related videos from Games Workshop's kind of universe that has been created. And it's kind of nice to see that Games Workshop's doing their own thing with it. I just hope it really doesn't. I hope it really doesn't put the weight down on the content creators. I'd like to see a variety of things available, but they are super high quality production videos from what I've seen so far of the Lore Masters. So far, I think we have one on that was just actually released the day we're shooting this video on Gaskell, and there was a older one on Abaddon. Actually, the first one I think was Abaddon to the spoiler, so that's really cool. And there might be a whole bunch more by the time you're actually watching this video. Good videos, check it out, especially if you're fans of the lore. Now, so that's how, sort of what is encompassed in the access from this. The things that I don't like, I'm going to start off with that to kind of sort of end on a positive note. The things that I don't like that the Warhammer apps are still kind of buggy. The Warhammer apps that are included, they do have some bugs. The content is not up to date. It's not as the codexes are released. I'm finding that there's almost a delay sometimes with the codex content being released on the app or the app being updated. There's some issues, points values, things like that. There was tons of bugs when it originally came out, and it's to be expected. I mean, with apps, but Games Workshop, I mean, if you're going to include that, it's going to be sort of one of the enticements for signing up for this service. Then I feel like it needs to be more polished, and I think that's something that is personally a bit of a pet peeve to me when I'm jumping on that app. So Battle Scribe is still, I find, reigning supreme when it comes to list building for that reason. But so that's just one thing. There's no apps for the consoles as of yet. I would like to see that. I think they should have just released that day of, had it ready. I mean, there's a few things that you're going to kind of, there's a trend to what I'm saying here where I feel like they maybe pulled the trigger too quickly on a few things, thought that they had their ducks in a row and didn't. Maybe they were really kind of quick to the trigger for this, and I find I don't know. Sometimes that can sink the overall platform if it's not ready. Now I don't think that'll be the case with this, and I'm kind of gonna kind of go into kind of my thoughts on the business reasons that they did everything the way they're doing things. But moving on from that, the Warhammer Vault, I noticed that the White Dwarf magazines that are uploaded so far are they're coming in like in sections. They're releasing a few at a time. I think that's just to try to like sort of extend the content and say, hey, we're releasing one video, but we're also releasing this and we're also releasing this, and it's just like a few issues of White Dwarf at a time, and it's kind of weird to me. I'd like to see some really classic White Dwarf magazines. I would like to see some of the really old stuff. I find White Dwarf is amazing. It's a really great source of inspiration. I do love the articles that showcase, community models and creations, conversions, things like that. Beautiful painted armies. It really does inspire you. In as far as the hobby is concerned, the battle reports are great. And I really want to be able to draw on some of those really classic Warhammer Fantasy related content from the classic White Dwarfs. I mean, that was the precursor to Age of Sigmar, and they've been hinting at that. Well, they've committed to releasing Warhammer Fantasy again. They're going to be able to they're going to bring the old world back. So, I mean, it would be really cool to be able to see some of that content get put on there, and it's kicking around somewhere at Games Workshop. So somebody just scan that, get it online, get that stuff up there as quick as possible. Take all of those issues and get them on there. I don't care if they have creases in the pages. I don't care if they have coffee stains. I will read through them anyways. As far as the trickle of content coming in, I think it's a little frustrating for people to see that. It makes people hesitant to invest in the service as of right now, thinking that if I wait a year, 2 years, maybe it'll be worth it because there'll be enough content on there. The problem with that is I feel like we are actually funding the creation of a lot of these shows by jumping in early. I feel like they're taking the money that's being put into it, showing the investors, showing that they have something tangible here and that they can kind of create this media platform and sort of let us float the bill on that and put the money forward for it. So, I mean, I could be wrong. That could, that's don't quote me on that, but I feel like that's kind of what they're doing, and I'm actually okay with supporting the channel. I mean, supporting the growth of this. I would love to see an animated series of Warhammer 30K. Like imagine the Horus Heresy series in an animated series. Just imagine how grand that would be. It would be awesome. And get the Astartes guy to do it, please. Oh my God, it'd be so good. Moving on from there. I have to say that overall, my opinion on those things, I mean, they're not like game deal breakers for me, all of them. Some of them are a little heavier weighted than others, but as far as what I do like about the channels so far, I do love the animations. I think they're fantastic. The quality of them is unreal. It's really cool to see that they're sticking so close to the lore. Just a quick spoiler alert here. I'm going to be talking about a little spoiler in one of the series, but in the Angels of Death series, you have a Blood Angels Marine that's returned from the Death Watch, and he is having troubles kind of integrating back into and aligning with his chapter. He's having a lot of issues with that. And they do talk about that in the lore, about that being a major issue for Marines returning to their parent chapter. It's really hard for them to sort of unsee the things that they've seen, and they've kind of broken their bonds, the brotherhood with their original chapter, and they kind of have to try to find their way back in. And it's really prevalent in this series. I thought that was really cool and really well done. And just the overall feel of them. I mean, the Marines felt like Marines. It was really cool. The Gene Stealer cults were really cool. There was one issue I had, which was one of the animations. I think it was the Aberrant at the beginning or one of the first episodes. Just the animations were a little clunky. Didn't feel like he was very like agile and scary. He just kind of felt like he was, I don't know. It brought me back to like Reboot, if anybody remembers that uh, cartoon series. But some of the animations, it was a little like rigid and yeah. Anyways, that was my only complaint. And to be honest, I didn't really notice it too much more throughout the rest of the series. So I hope I'm not putting that in your head. Now you can't unsee it, because the rest of it was great. It was excellent. The animation was beautiful. It was really cool to see that black and white red dynamic. The Hammer and Bolter series, that anthology series, has a lot of promise. I'm really excited to see what they do with it. The shows that they've released so far are really cool, and they've made promise for next week, which, I mean, depending on when you're watching this video, you might have an opportunity to watch those new videos as they come out. So there might be three. I think there's three more promised to be released very shortly for the Hammer and Bolter series, as the Angels of Death one is now at its mid-season finale, I think. The Warhammer apps, I mean, they do have massive potential. I would like to see, like I said, everything kind of improved as far as like the UI, the user interface. I'd like to see it just to be a little bit more up to date and all those things I mentioned before. But I think it has a lot of potential if it does, and it'll be well worth the inclusion, or it will be an incentive for getting this package. The included models, I mean, the Vindicare Assassin is beautiful. Super cumbersome. It does not look like it's going to play very well on the tabletop. I mean, if you're trying to hide that guy in some terrain, good luck, because that's a chunky model. But it's still going to be really cool to see that model as like a collector piece, and it is beautiful. I can't wait to get mine. I went for that one, if you couldn't tell. The Auric War Boss is awesome. I mean, lots of potential there if you wanted to convert him to 40k as a fantasy model, as an Age of Sigmar model. He's beautiful. It's going to be really cool to see what some people do with that. I know Brett is frothing at the mouth to get his hands on one. I don't know if he's going to end up converting it to a 40k like Mega Armor War Boss or something like that, but who knows? Time will tell. And yeah, just beautiful models. The one thing I would say about this, and still I'm complaining a little bit when I'm supposed to be talking about the things I like. The one thing I would say is I'd like to see a variety of models. I'd like to see, Eldari, Drukhari, several options, no Primaris in lieutenants, please. No Primaris lieutenants. No more. That's it. You've reached your limit. I would like to see a variety just for people to be able to choose from. I think that would be also enticing for players. I think it's very easy for somebody to be like, well, I don't play an Imperium faction, and I don't play Age of Sigmar, and I don't play Orcs. I'm not really interested. You know what I mean? Like, that's added value, especially like, when you factor in that like pot around average value of like $40 or $40 US for a model. I mean, yeah, it would entice a lot more people, I think, if they had more options. So I'm excited to see if they do go that direction in the future with maybe the next year or the year after. Yeah, the Warhammer TV, the quality of the content being produced is awesome. As mentioned, the battle reports that they're putting out, they're super thematic. I love them. Really cool. Worth checking out. It's a good idea for them to go in that direction of a little bit more narrative, a little bit less on the competitive side, a little bit more into like the history and the lore, and keep tapping into that, guys, because I think that's a winning direction. Yeah, and I mean, the painting classes are exceptional. Everything to do with that Warhammer TV is great. Now, as far as what I think I would like to see coming out with the service, things I would like to see improved, I already mentioned the improvements to the apps. I'd like to see those kind of working at a better, in a better place. I would like to see, I think it would be a really smart move for them to include the new issues of White Dwarf magazine included in this as well, digital copies only. Don't include any of the extras, obviously, because you're not going to get the extra, the models or anything attached to the White Dwarf, any of those like fold outs, anything like that. You're not going to get access to them because you didn't get the hard copy. You can still have your subscription for those people that like a hard copy magazine. I know I do, but I think it would be more enticing to have the current issue released every month with this. I don't really see that. I mean, if that's going to hurt the dollars too much, then I don't know. I just see that being a huge added value as far as getting people onto the streaming service. And even if to be honest, even if it increased the subscription cost of the streaming service by like 50 cents or something like that, whatever, do it. I mean, it's still worth it to me. I mean, if we're getting every single issue. Yeah, so overall, I mean, I would say the speed of the releases, that's obviously an issue. I think people are really hesitant, as mentioned before. I mean, it's something that they're going to build towards. It felt weird that they're doing it at such a slow trickle right now. It does feel like it is slow. It does feel like it. If I didn't feel like I was supporting the creation of the content and the growth of this whole endeavor for Games Workshop, I don't think I would be getting it. So that's kind of something that you have to weigh. If you're huge into the lore, if you really just love all of everything Warhammer 40K, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, if you love that kind of aspect, 40K more heavily weighted at this point in time. I mean, all of the shows basically on there are dedicated to Warhammer 40,000. There's not a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff, content being released. So, I mean, there is promise that there will be some stuff coming out, but clearly the 40K stuff is outweighing it. So that's another thing. If you're heavy into the Age of Sigmar, you're probably less likely to jump on board with this. You're not going to just do it for an orc model and some old White Dwarfs and campaigns. I mean, the old campaigns are cool. They are very cool. There's some really cool narrative stuff you can do with it. Some small tweaks to bring it in line with the new edition, but I think there's a bit of a gap there for Age of Sigmar players. So that's one thing. And again, the value. I mean, if they made those small tweaks, if they had everything running smoothly, I think the value would be. It's fine. I think that the cost of the service is understandable, especially when you factor in the models and all the little perks you're going to be getting. So, I mean, if you're attending the events and getting the bonuses from that, if you're checking out the White Dwarfs, you're reading through those, you're actually taking the time to look through that stuff, if you're using the campaigns, if you're using the painting classes and all the stuff on Warhammer TV, for sure, it is a great, great service. And there's a lot of stuff that is included with it. Unfortunately, just the amount of content that's out right now is the problem, and it will be great to see this grow. And I mean, a year from now, this is going to be an amazing service. I just hope that they get enough support to keep this thing going, and it's not just a lost endeavor. I really, really hope that that's not the case. So, in the comments down below, let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts. Do you like the service? Have you been using it? What do you enjoy about it? What are you excited about? Do you not like the service? Do you think it's too overcosted? Do you think there's not enough content? Things like that. Comment in the video down below. Let us know what you think. I will do my best to read through all of the comments and respond to any questions. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time.
Sponsored by...
Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, look at the Anvil of War icon right about here, and click it. Today on Anvil of War Gaming, Today on Anvil of War Gaming,